Hey.
Hello. I'm getting ready to try and start this Facebook Live Zoom thing. So ridiculous. Share on your group page. If you can see. And my dog's got the zoomies.
I like mine out.
Oh, stop. Yeah, I looked at, I'm sitting here editing this preschool. I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta launch this thing. All right, hold on. It's almost done. Calm down, dog. Stop. Okay, so it looks like Facebook Live is working. Okay. I'm just gonna get in. I'm gonna get into okay. So I'm just gonna get into Facebook Live and turn the volume down so I can watch for any questions that might happen. Okay. Good deal. Okay, turn that guy down. Bye. Okay.
Hi, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Give
How are
everybody
you?
2 minutes here to.
Great.
Are you ready to come sweat in North Carolina?
Right?
It's gonna be so hot in August or July.
John,
Yes, how's it going?
it's fine. So you get a little closer to me every time you come.
Yeah, well, good to see you.
You'll be really close next time, huh?
Right.
Was that not
didn't-
even 90 minutes? How long does it take for you to get to Chapel Hill?
It's about an hour.
About an hour?
About an hour and 20.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Cool.
If that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not too far. So
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna give people a couple of minutes to get on here because it's not even quite 6 o'clock yet. So
Yeah, I just realized I was close to there when I was in Virginia last week. I didn't think through that till I got home.
Be in my back door.
yeah.
I'm in Greensboro.
Are you on the northern side or the south side of Greensboro, Tony?
Marquise, where are we? We're in the north or south?
North.
North.
North side.
It's good to have friends.
Well, I'm gonna have to come over there and see my friends Wanda and Trier that live in Greensboro since I've never been
They're in my
before.
studio.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and yeah, they're right in my studio. She just moved across the parking lot actually
Okay.
in a upstairs studio that I wouldn't dare do because I'm too old to be climbing those steps. Yeah.
Yeah.
My last studio was a third floor walk up, and so I understand.
Oh.
Yeah.
It must be fun with C-stands and senior stands.
See,
It
and
was only fun
the,
coming and going.
it's just no way in this area that she has. The stairwell is literally just wide enough. I swear to you, John, I don't think you could fit through the area. Your shoulders are wide. It's
Oh
just
my
no way.
gosh.
There's no way. So I have to think about my clients and the age range that I have. It's a gorgeous studio. They're asking only for like 1,600 square feet. Windows for floor to ceiling windows, brick. It's gorgeous, but I just couldn't see myself going back and forth up and down steps.
Yeah. Jermaine's in the house.
What's up, buddy? His audio is not connected yet.
Not yet. He's almost there. He goes. Now he's connected. Nope. Almost.
Another one of my peeps.
Uh-huh. There he is.
Hey, Warsom.
All right. Looks like a couple of people are on Facebook Live, so that's good. Well, it's 6:02. We can go ahead and get started. Annie, you want to lead?
Sure. So, John, do you want to tell us just a little bit about what you're planning for our class and what we can expect?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start off sort of giving an introduction as to how a little bit about me and kind of how I go about practicing lighting and improving my lighting. Then I'll start off with one light and sort of go over the general principles of lighting and using fill and kickers and edge lights and also hair lights and flags, a little general introduction, and then we'll jump into creating some of my more favorite lighting setups that will maybe involve one light, and maybe we'll work our way up to 4 or 5.
Oh, I caught John at imaging, and his program was amazing. So many different lights and different methods. So good.
Oh, thank you.
So how did you get started? How did you begin to learn lighting?
Yeah, so I started off my career as a photojournalist, and I was doing that full time. And a lot of the times I would be asked to photograph people who were in the news and portraits of them. And it wouldn't happen very often, but it would happen enough. And I started to realize that I liked lighting portraits because I was actually responsible for everything in the shot. I just didn't have to time what was happening and pick the best background and predetermine, where things were going to happen, which is the skills of a photojournalist or a wedding photographer. Well, I mean, wedding photographers also post things too, but I found that when I was lighting portraits that I really enjoyed it because I was responsible for every single aspect of the photo. And the more complicated things are, I tend to like. So it was sort of a natural fit. And then I just got to experiment and try different things and progress from there. And that started in, I think, 1999, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly.
Awesome.
Did I
Does
answer
anyone-
the question
You
correctly?
did.
I'm
No,
sorry.
it was
Okay, good.
wonderful. It was good.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for John or his class?
Yeah, well, I guess to add to that, I actually started more working with models in about 2007 when my friend asked me to teach him lighting because he wanted to be a fashion photographer. And we went out the first night, and I was the model and he was the photographer. And thankfully, we eventually found people that wanted to have their picture taken because that definitely wasn't me. And I sort of realized that I really enjoyed working with models because they would sit there and let me perfect things and um, try out new lighting, and they just weren't interested in me getting the photo shoot over with, which is how most of the famous people or business people were. And so then I started down a path where I was doing test photo shoots with people that I found on Model Mayhem from about 2008 to 2010, and my skill level really shot through the roof at that time because I was just experimenting and having fun and learning from the process and finding things to um, occupy my time during that recession that was happening back then.
Awesome. What's your favorite genre that you photograph?
Well, probably anything that's like, well, I have trouble classifying things sometimes because I like to say that I'm just a portrait photographer because I take pictures of people. But then when I started getting into the PPA realm, I realized that was mostly meant that then I was a family photographer. I work primarily as a commercial photographer. But I
Okay.
think any time that I'm photographing people and experimenting with lighting or doing something that I think is cool, that I enjoy it, that tends to lead me into working more with models and actors or doing commercial photography for the beauty industry. But really, I think you could just give me a challenge to try to figure something out, and I would enjoy doing that, whether that was a family portrait um, or a model shoot.
Do you guys hear that? So we got to bring him a challenge when he comes.
I was just thinking about that. I was like,
How can we make it
And
hard?
We need to have some kind of like contest with some of the instructors one night.
We did that last year. So
Uh-huh.
remember that?
Yeah.
Who it was Dave and Scott Detweiler
Yeah.
and Jeff
I think
Poole.
that was at
All
East
had it.
Coast School. So we need to do that Carolina Photo Expo because that was fun.
That was
It was
really
a lot
fun.
of
Are you up
fun.
for that? We throw you a little challenge.
Yeah, I think we were talking about heading over to the beach the day after my class. So if it's that same day that I'm speaking, then or the night before, I think. Well,
Yeah.
probably the same day I'm speaking, then yes.
We can
Um,
match that.
yeah,
Yeah, we'd have to do
I
that.
was I was thinking about proposing a class for a conference where I was essentially like spin the wheel between like the type of lighting. So it could be like high key lighting, low key lighting, it could be gels, or I don't know, something else. And then it could be the genre could be groups like models, actors, and then I don't know, I got to come up with a third complication. But essentially it was just like people could spring on me the idea of like, okay, we need a low key group portrait and shot at f2. How are we going to do it? So
Right.
Oh,
So
I
are you
love
going to
it.
be around Saturday night? You teach
um,
Saturday.
yes, we'll be
It'll be
around. I'll be
Saturday
around
night.
Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when we should definitely do it, is have some kind of game. That would be fun.
Be really fun.
Yep.
John,
That would be a good challenge.
what type of equipment do you like to use? What
Do we have
do
any
you use the most?
questions?
Yeah.
Like flash versus continuous or like a particular modifier or
Any of it, whatever comes to mind.
I'm probably using softboxes the most more than anything. Although lately I've had some concepts that I've had to work through that were involving beauty dishes and 8-inch reflectors. So I've spent a lot of time lately doing more hard light stuff the last few months. But I think in general, I'm probably using softboxes most of the time and recreating Rembrandt lighting in a sort of cinematic way. It's probably what I'm doing most of the time.
I know you use a lot of, I notice you use a lot of strips in some of the stuff that you do. Is it, do you see a significant difference when you use the strip, like overhead or underneath versus some of the round soft boxes or the rectangular soft boxes? Do you do that just to control the light a little bit better? Is it easier for you to control that light that way?
So like maybe when I started using hair lights, I would use an umbrella or something like that. But then the problem I found is that that light tends to, um, because it's larger in diameter, it tends to sometimes hang over the person too much, and then you end up lighting their nose or their forehead if their forehead sweeps back rather than their hair. So then I started using smaller strips for that. And then strips are just sort of natural for edge lighting because my biggest pet peeve with edge lighting is that I end up striking the nose with that edge light. So it would just be a matter of getting the light in the right place so that the light could not see the nose, and then usually it's easier if you have a skinnier light than a wider light. And then for the fill on the bottom, um, it's sort of the same. It's more about like what can fit in that space because yeah, maybe you could put a 3-foot octabox or something or a 3-foot umbrella, but it gets kind of awkward and might be in the way. But the 1 by 3 foot strip usually is less wieldy, if you will.
I have one more thing, and I made a note of it because I didn't want to forget. The one thing that I learned in your workshop in Florida was something that I didn't realize I was like struggling with or had a problem with, but the use of, I don't know if you're going to go over this or not, but I thought it was very helpful for me in that class. The use of fill and the way that you use fill to create the look that you have. Now, that has been a challenge for me. Like I know I use field, but I've never used it in the manner that you have, which is so minute that you like you can't see it. That's where I say it. Like you know it's there because you use it, but it's hard to see. How did you learn that? Did you teach yourself?
I I think I probably did. Yeah, I think it was just through the experiments that I was doing where I was just trying different things and seeing if it would like let's say using a V flat or just a white piece of foam core, like it is effective, but then sometimes it might be that it's just barely not enough and it just adding a little bit more can can help out. It's interesting, I guess, in the same vein, I was going through making a video this week and I needed to find some photos that were some of them even maybe 6 years old. And it's interesting seeing like how I was processing things 6 years ago or using the 5D Mark IV. I think it could have been a 5D Mark III if times lined up correctly. Um, but it was just interesting seeing how there's more shadow detail today in my work. And I've noticed that I'm like making sure the blacks aren't completely black and whereas 6 years ago that would have been more common that I would see just looking at those photos I could just tell that there just wasn't enough black detail. And so I
I
think
think that's, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I think just having a reverence or an understanding to look out for those things and then to an appreciation for that detail. I think that just sort of changed the way that I was approaching things so that I was, just thinking more about getting those details there. And then also I had a lot of beauty clients over the same period of time. And so a lot of that would be the challenge of like, let's say they'd be making hair products, or I'd be teaching people how to do hairstyles with the photos, or how to do haircuts with the photos. And so having some sort of shape to the light, but then also shadow detail was very important because I needed to show off the gradient and the fade, or just the whole hair, all of the head needed to have detail in it. And so I think that just sort of forced me to that challenge sort of forced me to develop that skill where I was getting some contrast, but then having that detail.
It's something that has really made me look at my work differently. Like I knew
Okay.
the process, and I know, of course, your regular films, you put your beats out here, etc. But using one, like I've seen a number of people as well as you, where you have one behind you, that has been an eye opener for me to use something that's behind me to make that feel. But again, like seeing it, like when I was working with you, like trying to see the difference was a little challenge for me. I'm like, I know there's a difference, but I'm not seeing it. But I'm working towards it. So I thank you for that.
Oh, well, sure. Well, I guess it's just sort of like taking a photo without the fill and then just sort of asking yourself, is there enough detail in this hair? And if not, just adding something in wherever it can exist. So, if that's below the lens, that's great. If it's behind you, then that's fine too. Or maybe it's that because I remember when we were there at Yulia Studio in Orlando, like I even had he was like in a box, I remember
Yes,
at one
right,
point.
right.
Yeah. And so that was just sort of, I'm just going to imagine and remembering what the photo looked like, that it was just sort of like um, putting it where it needed to be in order to bounce the light back and that sort of thing.
You were
But
seeing it. You were seeing it. I was
yeah,
just, what is he looking at? But, but
And maybe that's something you can demo for us so that we understand it a little bit better too.
that sounds like a good idea.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yep. And do we have any questions on the Facebook Live?
Let me double check. So far, I only saw some people tagged. So, nope. Nobody's asked any questions in there.
Any other questions here before we let John get back with his evening?
Don't go.
I know. I'm so
Amir,
excited
just
for your
ask something.
class.
I'm so excited. It was so good. And what you said about the nose, I was doing a shoot today and I was thinking about what you said with not letting that fill light on the nose. So good.
Okay, good. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think the biggest thing I've learned, or the biggest way I've learned to articulate it, is just stand next to where the light is and look at the person. And if you can see that part of the person's body, the light can hit them. Or
Mhm.
if you stand in the position of the subject and you imagine if the light can hit them, that usually helps you inform too, like, is this going to be good or bad, or what's going to happen?
Awesome.
I don't know if that made any sense, but if you just
It
put
did.
yourself in the shoes of the person and imagine what the light's going to do to them. Yeah.
Just FYI, I just want to say, I know some people logged in. There are people that I've been tagging that I know, been about 3 more have joined in. I just want to say, for those of you who don't know John, please look up his name and please join us at PPNC. Because you will get a lot from it. You get a lot from it.
Definitely.
That's awesome. How many
Yeah,
people do you typically have at your conference?
So our goal this year is 150, and I think we're gonna make it.
Okay.
So yeah, our price does go up tonight at midnight. So if you're a member, it's gonna go up $150. If you're a non-member, it's gonna go up $50. So I highly encourage everybody to, if you're not a member, go ahead and go look at us and see what we're about, because it's definitely worth being a member for PPNC. You get 3 seminars a year included, plus you get some pretty good discounts off of any of our big events like this for East Coast School or Carolina Photo Expo. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff too. You get a discount off of the Academy classes. Our Academy classes, we have some pretty big names too. We've got Gary Hughes is going to be there, and we've got I don't want to butcher his name, Unmish. I know I'm saying it wrong.
He's awesome.
Unmish Stenda
Mhm.
is going to be there. So he's doing a pre-con class for 2 days. So yeah, we've got a lot of people. So
Oh, that's great. When are
definitely
those
go.
classes?
Yeah, I know those are gonna be good. We have God, my brain's going blank.
They're going to be on Thursday and Friday. So Unmesh
Yeah,
is doing
they're
it on Thursday, and then everyone else is doing Friday.
yeah, everybody
Okay.
else is doing Friday. So yeah. Yeah, and we have hold on, let me get to my lineup here. We also have Crystal Waddell is going to be doing a pre-con class on SEO, and it's really good. We had her on here the other day, and Susan Eckert is going to be doing a boudoir class. So those are all day classes. Then they're like our kickoff before Carolina Photo Expo starts. And then our
Okay,
lineup
great.
for Carolina Photo Expo is pretty good too, because we got Gary Box as well. And of course we got John Gress, and we got Diana Robles. We have Leon Johnson, Justin Grafton, Jessica Robertson, and of course Jermaine Horton. So yeah, we've got a good lineup, and we have some other sneakers in there that are going to be in that you guys don't know about yet, that'll be doing some lunch and learns and coming in and teaching in our photo bays at night. And those are all like some special guests that are coming that we haven't even announced yet. So there's a lot of fun stuff getting ready to happen.
Well,
So
maybe Jermaine will end up on my flight. I was at
yeah.
one of
That'd be
the
great.
speakers for Virginia actually ended up on my flight too. So
Nice. Yeah, I've got a bunch of flights I need to book here in the next few days to next week. So get my speakers all booked. So yeah,
It's a great lineup. I love it.
it is. I'm really
Mhm.
excited.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
this is gonna
fun.
be this is gonna be a good conference. Yeah.
Yes.
It
yeah.
is. It's very exciting. So yeah.
so I hear that you have a camera store there where the guy has like thousands of old cameras. Like maybe.
Southeastern.
Yeah,
That's
Southeastern. Yeah.
Southeastern. Yeah, he does have
Yeah.
a lot. We could tell. I don't know if, I guess whatever you would like to have. His email is, I can get you his email. You can request stuff to come. Because yeah, I know there's a lot of people that really like some of those old cameras, and he does have a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. He really does.
Oh, okay.
He's got a lot of
Nice.
stuff, so he won't necessarily bring all of that. His camera store is in town. But if there's something very specific you're looking for, he will bring it.
Oh, okay. I just heard stopping by his camera store was a must. A
Oh
must
yeah, if you're
stop.
in,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
go to
it's
his camera store in
cool.
town. Yes. So
Yeah.
he'll have a booth. He's always at our trade show, but his camera store is fun. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yes,
Well,
yes.
thank you so much. We appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today. We'll see you in a couple months.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
thank you. I'll see you guys then.
All
Well, thank you
right.
much.
Excited.
All right.
All right, thanks. See ya. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.